Khawaja is officially out of the second Ashes test in Brisbane. The veteran opener has been unable to recover from the back troubles that plagued him in Perth. Our reporter Josh Bristow is at the Gabba. Josh, how much has this rocked the Aussie camp?
Yeah, great to join you here, Ruby. Look, it's a massive disruption 48 hours from the first ball. It does, though, put to bed the wider debate over Uzzie Khawaja's spot in the team, given he has been out of form for maybe the last 2 years, and he was certainly haunted by that back injury in Perth that has unfortunately ruled him out of this game. He only managed to get to the crease as a batter once, and when he was in that stint, he nicked off for 2. So he will not play. He failed a fitness test yesterday, I'm told. Whether that's the end of his 85 test match career is anyone's guess. I have to say he's actually out here at the moment. And he doesn't look like a man that's test career has been ended. He's been cracking jokes with his coach Andrew McDonald, going through a couple of rehab stretching routines. So he looks like he's pretty upbeat, but his teammates have admitted to us. Scott Boland talked to the media just before, admitting that it is a massive disruption. Take a listen.
I guess does a little bit because we probably planned to have Uzzie there for the whole time, but I think the best thing about our team over the last few years is when someone has come out either due to form or an injury or something like that, someone's always stood up and done their job, and I think Trav did that last week. And even without Pat and Josh, I think some bowlers have come in and done a good job. So we're obviously got a huge depth in our squad, and we can sort of replace anyone if we need to.
Well, with Khawaja out and we know what Head offers, what are Australians' options in the middle order?
Yeah, of course. Well, you mentioned it there. I think the no-brainer is to keep Travis Head in that opening spot after his match-winning knock over in Perth. You keep Jake Weatherald, who looked certainly much better in his second innings there. I think he got 30-odd. Now, the vacant spot, of course, though, then opens up in the middle order. I think the two guys that are already in the squad that are in the race for that position would be Josh Inglis, a swashbuckling sort of batsman, or all-rounder Bo Webster, who actually did fill in as a fielder for Uzzie Khawaja over in Perth and has certainly been a good performer since making his debut last year in the Australian Test team. He's Scott Boland on the state of play.
Yeah, like he's obviously done really well. He's like a big part of the team when he was in it. Like he was making really good runs at 6. He's won really important overs, and I think you've seen him in the field. He's a gun catcher, so anytime that he's in the team, it makes us a stronger team. But I've got not really any idea of what they're going to do to bat at someone who goes at 5. Like I don't know if Greeny might go up 1 and they'll pick someone else at 6, or if they'll keep Greeny at 6 and someone else will go at 5. So probably find out tomorrow or the next day.
Now, Ruby, England have named their final 11 for the second test. Just one change for them. Seamer Mark Wood unable to back up with his knee injury, so they brought in spinner Will Jacks, and already down 1-0 in the series. They desperately need to turn around here at the Gabba, a venue they, of course, have not won at since 1986. Now, I was lucky enough a little bit earlier today to run into Fox Sports colleague Isha Gua, and I had a chat to her from all things England. Take a listen.
Yeah, it's quite a hard one, really, to digest because the hope is there. I think that's part of the problem. It's the hope that kills you, because you get so excited about what this team is capable of, and then all of a sudden, in a space of a session, that's taken away completely. So, look, it's a bit of a roller coaster, not going to lie, but it has been entertaining. You know, they've been, since the start of Baz and Stokes, they've won more games of cricket than they've lost. So I think it's just a case of how can they stand up to this Australian team, but also how do they be sensible in the kind of key ruthless moments, and how do they kind of recognise the need to kind of bring it back or rein it in when, the heavy roll is worn off and it's starting to do a little bit more, or it's a night session where the pink ball's going to come into play a little bit more. That's where they probably need to be a little bit smarter about the way they play their sessions. But 12 days, if that hasn't got you ready mentally, then I don't know what will.
Their quicks looked, really, really scary on that first day. How sustainable is that, and do you expect we'll see that maybe more in this session? We did see Mark Wood with some strapping on his leg. What's the sort of the feeling there?
Yeah, look, I think everyone got super excited about that, not just the tourists, but everyone in Australia, because they haven't seen a touring team with a fast bowling cartel like that in a very long time. The fact that they were all kind of bowling with good accuracy, with good pace, two bowlers bowling at 150 kilometres an hour, I think it was a sight to behold, and it's something that England have been wanting to add to their ranks over the last 2 or 3 years since that last defeat here in Australia. But sustainable is the key word there. So being bowled out for under 40 overs, not having that much time to rest, and the bowlers probably being a little bit stunned that they weren't expecting to come out as quickly as they did. And when you haven't had time to prepare mentally as well, I think that can affect you. So look, there will be questions around how they manage this attack going forwards, because you look at Pat Cummins and Josh Hazlewood, there's talks that they could be back by the end of the series. So England are going to have to find a way of managing their bowlers as best as they can when it comes to, later on in the series where it could potentially get tight. But obviously all the focus will be chips in, Gabba test. They're 1-0 down in the series. They don't currently hold the urn, so they have to go all out.
Are you surprised then that they stuck so steadfast to the relaxed preparation strategy that's been a keystone of Bazball? They didn't play in that Canberra game, and they've been pretty relaxed when I've watched them training this week.
I think it's, these players now understand what they need to do to get ready for a test match, and sometimes because of the way the series is drawn out, you've got to reserve energy as and when you can, so that you're not blowing yourself out, mid-series. So we've seen that with the Australian fast bowlers over the last few years. I've obviously watched them really closely and how they manage things. There was a lot of talk about Pat Cummins in the first test last year, that he was a bit undercooked because he hadn't prepared that well. They ended up losing that test, but then he went through the gears as the series went on. So it's all about managing yourself as a player. I think they were stunned a little bit by the extra bounce, and so that's where they probably do need to up a gear. Not going to play in Canberra, not necessarily a bad thing, in the sense that they are all together in Australia, and it's a very difficult place to tour. So I think being together, getting that team morale can be a good thing. Look, it might have benefited some of the players to be able to go and face the pink ball in a match situation. That's their call that they've made, and they're backing themselves with the preparation that they've done. It is advantage Australia, there's no doubt about that. They played far more pink ball cricket. They've played in Australia. They've got the king of the pink ball in Mitch Starc, 81 wickets at 17. He's going to be incredibly tricky, and the fact that he only bowled 22 overs in that first test, he's going to be fresh and firing. So, and he's built up confidence by getting Joe Root and Ben Stokes out twice. So not just that, the other wickets he got, but those were the key wickets for me, and the key battle, I think, that will happen in this next match.
And a reminder to start every day of the series with Ashes Daily on Fox Sports News. Jim Callanan will be joined by our Fox Cricket talent as we build up to the first ball every day. We'll be on air at 1:30 p.m. every day before play. Make sure you join us for all the major talking points live right here on Fox Sports News.